Yeah, welcome back to another edition of the MC65 FM podcast, where we bring you conversations with MVPs, engineers, architects, and community leaders shaping the future of Microsoft technology. Today episodes, it's a little bit different. Usually we interview expert. Today I'm going to be the attacker. My goal is simple: break into Uros Microsoft environment, gather intelligence, steal credentials, move through the network, reach the crown jewels, and hopefully not get catched. Yeah, thankfully today's guest is a Microsoft leading security expert. Uros Babage is a Microsoft security MVP, Microsoft certificate trainer, and lead product engineer for Microsoft Security DevOps and a Software One's Global Center of Excellence. He designing enterprise SOC solutions using Microsoft Defender, Microsoft Sentinel, Security Copilot, automations, Microsoft Security Expose Management. So today we see if we can stop, we see if he can stop me before I succeed. Uros, are you ready?
Yeah, thank you, Mirko. Thank you for joining on this session. I'm looking forward to discuss a very important topic because today I want you to forget how usually look likes in our security because your mentioned attacker don't see our environment the way you do. Uh, they don't see dashboard, severity levels, the 100 open ticket. They see opportunity. And that is very important. That is very challenge. They see some pet, interesting pet. They see the fastest way to something very valuable. And actually, the problem is for many organizations are still fixing vulnerability in isolation, while attacker actually try to chain them together. And in this our conversation, in this session, uh, it is very important to going to think like what you mentioned, like attacker, and understand not just what is vulnerable, but what is actually exposed, publicly exposed, and that is exactly where Microsoft Security Exposure Management help us, and that is actually game changer because it is help uh, to identify, to uh, prioritize, to uh, the break attack path that truly matter, and that is the future for our modern SOC. I love to say the future of agentic SOC uh, because we are the most of AI now, but it's central question how we protect our agent. And uh, I love to say also what is the subject of elevation and etc. That is interesting when many organization like I don't know before 15 days we have a situation with some agent is denied, some sub agent is not properly security configured, and by security policy, and we must prioritize because uh, Anthropic disable, for example, Fable and Mythos, it is great example on why we rely on external agentic tools without governance is actually risky. And if my employee, your employee, are using unmanaged AI tool, for example, your data is effectively subject of uh, some policy outside of your organization, include the regulatory decision you don't control. And that is also the challenge, and that is also the risk. In this intro, I love to emphasize something very important, what we discussed under the beginning our conversation. Uh, we are facing with the challenge main cyber attack, but into the cloud. The first, actually, your mention is some kind. uncontrolled misconfiguration exploit. Attacker take advantage of poorly configured cloud service. What is publicly accessible, like storage bucket, like overage permission identity access management rule, to gain unauthorized access to our sensitive data. The great example is credential debt. Great example is account compromise, because we are facing with a lot of phishing, brute force attack, credential stuffing are used to hear cloud account, often leading to many lateral movement without cloud environment, without any control. User enumeration in early phase for attack, and the challenge is how we can stop in the fast way, how we using our tools in better efficient way, because modern ransomware campaign now include many other challenge, encrypt cloud data, pressure with the third party clients, partners for ransomware attack with combination with data exfiltration. The next step is privilege escalation with data exfiltration. That is a great, the large impact for a large impact for many organizations, not only for the money, also for the reputation. And actually, we are facing also what is I saw. The big challenge is the cloud-based software supply chain is also targeting but attacker compromise widely using some library or services to affect multiple organization. And what I mentioned, AI with the machine learning, with the system exploit, with the position threatening data, with the still model weight, with many other challenge to use AI to generate convincing phishing or some deepfake contents. And because cloud environments with the malware design, it is a great example for Kubernetes, for Docker, container security on the rise, often stealing some API key, token, secret, and that is very usual. That is very common. Uh, Attack perspective, weak misconfiguration access control can lead, for example, to unauthorized access for many Azure restores implementing strong password policy and MFA. I love to say passwordless, without any password, using a strong multi-factor authentication with the phishing persistence mechanism. It is crucial, and
Wow,
that
yeah,
is good
yeah,
introduction. Yeah.
that's a good start. So I think before I take your organization, I start with social engineering. So
Yes.
yeah, Uros, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how your journey begins into cybersecurity?
I'm actually more than 20 years in the cybersecurity. Start for my own premise. I was actually system admin in Windows Server environment and work with a lot of on-premise and move little and little. I think I remember 2016 and 2017 is migration actually from standard on-premise and from on-premise bare metal to cloud. And actually my work is because the client often work in a hybrid environment and move from the no, but we also working full cloud environment. But that is actually how I shift my knowledge, my experience step by step in these 20 years. And of course, everything is changed, the shift and thinking and attacker perspective. And previously we have other focus. Now we have more sophisticated focus, how we can use the modern tool, because we are facing with a lot of dark data. Dark data, what means without any control in the cloud. And the first question is, before you define what is your sensitive data, do you know what is your sensitive data? How you protect your sensitive data in the cloud? Do you know how looks like your data flow?
Mm.
Do you know what is managed and how you can manage your device, or your device is under your control? That is the first steps. And yes, very good. Exposure management give you a lot of opportunity, but uh, in we must thinking very predictable. And actually the great way is actually Microsoft Security Exposure Management, what I love to discuss today, how we shifting security from a reactive perspective to actually uh, uh, from reactive incident response to proactive risk reduction. That is my focus, and I love to continuously, more than the last 5 years, uh, uh, to map my attack surface management, uh, and actually identify exposure across identity, across endpoints, across cloud, across application, and how I can prioritize my work, and what is actually uh, metric in that way. That is crucial, and that is a very good approach how we can doing in our daily operation. Because also I love to mention, uh, um, I worked in day-to-day operation with the SOC team, 24 hours, critical asset, critical resource, incident alerting. And what is the core message? How we, exposure is not equal vulnerability. We have vulnerability, we have individual issue with common vulnerability exposure score, with a lot of misconfiguration, what I mentioned before. But exposure is actually how attacker actually chain those issue together. The key is the key idea. It is not about the fixing everything. It's about fixing what attacker will exploit the first, and that is a tricky, uh, and why that is why I love to emphasizing, I don't know, attack surface management. uh, the first thing I was thinking, how discover attacker try to discover my asset from known, from an unknown. And I have external option, I have internal option. That is also the case when you conducting some internal or external pen test activity. But exposure graph is very good option, how you can identify security dependency map, how show your weakness actually connecting into many attack path. And uh, the next steps is how we can prioritize real risk. And I love to to make a question many time myself: what is the fastest path to domain admin or global admin for my critical assets? And that is also attacker perspective. uh, Show me, I don't know, show me top exposure affecting tier zero assets. How I can help my analyst to reason faster. And this is very important topic, very important to a point when we starting to work with this shift.
Mm.
how I love to say, we have all SOC, Security Operations Center, alert driven. Now, managed SOC, modern SOC thinking like attacker, risk driven. After attack, no, it is important proactive approach before attack. And noise, some overload, how we can prioritize exposure management. Uh, I love to give you some real world feeling how we work and how we project our initiative with some practical scenario. Imagine some misconfiguration service account combined with the device vulnerability and excessive permission. uh, Individual that is not aren't critical, but together they create paths to domain admin. Exposure management will be fine and prioritize that chain. That is good. And this is actually answer how I shift myself from SecOps to DevOps for many automation in the last in the last 5 years. That is answer for the question.
Okay. So I'm the attacker, so I try to bring you a little bit out of the concept. So if you had an animal, what name will you give him?
A name,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know, Leo or something like that.
Okay, then I Google now your birthday and I copy paste your email address from LinkedIn, and now I am in your chat.
Yeah, correct. Very great.
Yeah. Let us a little bit short talk about the topic insider risk. Uh,
Yes.
what did you think? Uh, how big is this part actually for the new checks with AI?
Yes, that is a good question. The central question, I actually have a lot of discussion about this topic the last 1 month. We have a lot of AI agents now
Well,
in two directions. The first is AI agent in Security Copilot
mm,
for AI with some conditional access optimization agent to reveal your gap in conditional access policy. Very good for security baseline in Microsoft 365. Then some security analyst is very interesting now. You have direct chat now with two security consumption unit to replace your for example, to be good friend your security analyst. Not replaced really,
uh,
because we must have human interaction, but for your vulnerability management, for your security score, for your custom query language, or a lot of question with privilege escalation, a lot of question for lateral movement pet. That is very interesting point. And the central question, yes, is elevation privilege this agent. I have a lot of discussion yeah, and explain a lot of during the session, but I love to emphasizing something. Uh, why AI agent should be treated as a first class identity? How we can simulate data leakage scenario for many company and detect in Enter ID protection. How to enforce conditional access policy, how to respond to agent incident from isolate anomaly, because the central question is elevation, uh, but when user when you interact with Copilot agent on custom AI workflow, the agent doesn't just answer question. It acts. It call Microsoft Graph. It reads from SharePoint.
but
It query Exchange. It doesn't all the using delegate of application permission that we grant in integration time. And we forget that. And we are facing with a lot of elevation of permission, and the behavior is actually makes AI agent functionality equivalent to some, I don't know, service principle, manage identity in terms of uh, access scope. And this is exactly why Microsoft enter now threat against the identity and the first class object in identity plan, alongside user device and workload. The center question is how we to protect to our sensitive information go outside when we have interaction of Copilot. Great example is maybe data security posture management for AI in Microsoft Preview. You can using DLP policy in combination data protection and detect some your sensitive data when you have. But security journey is actually provide some very good framework, in my opinion, what we first identify with AI agent. In Microsoft Enter agent preview, protect with conditional access policy, detect with identity protection. In Enter ID and Security Copilot, respond with Defender, automatic access block and session termination using some uh, conditional access or Defender is their capability. And finally, don't forget optimization, continuous policy analysis, gap identification with and this is actually the sixth act, and how we understand you are using very often interacting with Copilot agent, customer agent, with SharePoint Online, with the Exchange Online, Microsoft Graph API, and we have excessive data access, we have sensitive content access, accessing file folders, critical outside, and that is realistic data leakage scenario. Misconfiguration agent without any control orchestration layer, it will be challenged in the next period of time. We can use many protection mechanism, but the central question how we using some automation response to block, to terminate, to log in scope for our automatic blocking via some policy when we have a risk agent in Fox. And you can use many very good tool like Defender for Cloud Apps, like Microsoft Preview solution, and with many additional capability in that way.
Yeah. Microsoft have a topic, I think, in years. They say zero trust, zero trust, zero trust for devices, zero trust for users, zero trust for applications. How has zero trust changed in the age of AI?
Yes, very good question. Uh, and we have a lot of opportunity in that way. Uh, um, yes, you are mentioned very uh, um, actually. We can use some blend exposure management with the zero trust mindset uh, instead to move step by step to change identity endpoint misconfiguration permission into the path uh, because for attacker perspective, uh, uh, attacker don't care about your security model. That is very interesting, and they don't respect boundary. They don't respect your zero trust, and they definitely don't follow your priority list because zero trust reduce trust. But for example, in combination in exposure management, it can be show you where you still exposed. If if nothing is trusted, it is real question becomes what is still exploitable, and connect zero trust with special management. That is maturity angel, and position you in that way. But zero trust in combination for AI, uh, uh, it will be challenged, especially with the agentic AI, uh, when we uh, uh, when we have the real scenario. When we have because zero trust is in age of agentic AI, rethinking security as per sure, for my opinion, and fixing as per sure, not just alert. We are using agentic AI and especially the driven security in combination for our future modern SOC. And zero trust in conclusion is not enough. You must use many other solution like special management, but you implement zero trust model now with AI, but why is still exposed? That is agentic AI plus zero trust. Why attackers still actually win, and how to stop in that part. And um, I love to explore and thinking a shift our focus. How combine zero trust with Microsoft Security as special management and agentic AI allow us to finally shift from reacting to alerts to proactively breaking attacker paths, for example, before they ever use. That is the modern SOC. And just zero trust limit access as special management show that attackers still win. And that is a good approach for agentic AI. Agentic AI doesn't just detect threats, they understand them. It will be a challenge and a very good question. So the question is no longer do we trust this? It's can attackers still get through? And it is the right approach. Uh, Red Bull narrating into our focus in the next period of time. And thank you for this question.
Um, Microsoft had a lot of security tools. I say Microsoft PureView for your data security, Microsoft Intune for device management, Microsoft Entra for identity, Microsoft Sentinel for collecting, detecting threats. Then they have Acción. I have forgotten for what it was. and 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 they have a defender or a lots of defenders. But you're a specialist in Microsoft Security Expose Management. Is this a tool or what is it? It's a framework?
Yeah, that is a good question. How we can start with the special management? Uh, that is combination. Your answer is combination. Uh, this is I love to say more security solution provide for you unify view security posture across many organization and workload endpoint cloud resource I don't know like several other surface and security as social management give you all asset information with security context and help you to be proactively manage attack surface protect critical assets and explore and mitigate some special risk in digital state. But actually now standard integration is with the Defender for Cloud because Defender for Cloud now is moving from Azure portal to Defender portal. Not only for Azure, it is now we're talking about multi-tenant and multi-management across Azure, AWS, and GCP via the Feather for Cloud integration alongside traditional on-premise signal. This unified approach, graph, exposure graph, give you, for example, I don't know, device, your identity, your cloud asset, external attack surface management, along with the Gartner continuous threat exposure management. In general, uh, your answer is both. This is some kind of framework, but also provide for many great opportunity, great security tool, and you can actually who is use this? For example, from my perspective, security compliance admin to improve your organization security posture. Security operation guys uh, need to visibility into data, into your flow, a workflow across many organization in order to detect, in order to investigate, in order to mitigate security threats. The third category, what you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, very important topic is security architect. Architect is responsible to solving some issue in overall security posture management. And our CISO, I don't know, Chief Security Information Officer, with some decision makers who need insight into organization attack surface management, execution management in order to better understand security risk in organization. What is very important for our discussion to understand? Now, vulnerability management is moving from traditional environment, endpoint environment, to exposure management. And actually, this is easy answer. Combination vulnerability with the risk management. It is a great. And what can I do with this? I can use unified view across many organizations with my asset, endpoints, cloud environment, external attack surface management, manage an investigation attack surface in order to visualize something, I don't know, analyze this, manage, uh, uh, and the attack surface spanning on-premise and hybrid environments. And that is also very important topic to understand. And I can discover, I can safeguard my critical asset. I can manage exposure tool to manage security exposure and mitigate many exposure risk. And I can finally manage and investigate at surface management with the graph schema, with a lot of another. And the last topic, what is important here for our discussion, what you mentioned with the Sentinel, but yes, Sentinel is a cloud native security event management system uh, to connect many data sources. But here we can, with the security association management, we can connect our data connector to integrate with the different security solution and data sources, including external vendor, Rapid7, I don't know, cloud, many other cloud platform, Tenable, Qualys, ServiceNow, into single unified view exposure management platform. And that is good. That is fine. And finally, you can give you a deeper insight into security posture integrity data from various environment and external sources.
For years, I think companies often think, oh, we have all these tools, we pay Microsoft for the security. And yeah, Microsoft, they no. And a lot of companies start to build their cybersecurity teams or have a partner for this topic. But now it's, I think, a really new product. It's the Microsoft Security Copilot. And I think I got a cheap cybersecurity expert and I paid him 60 euro per hour. Yeah, and now I can get it for 60.
Yes, that is interesting. Now, We are in era security copilot and agentic AI, and actually you can use security copilot with as a core feature in your security to explore use some interesting use case. Uh, Many interesting. For example, no, I give you some great example why it's, from my perspective, needed. Incident summarization. It is better for you, for your security alert to consist on actual and better connecting with your vulnerability uh, basis, databases, impact analysis, asset potential impact of security incidents to enable quicker response time. Reverse engineering, you can put all your malicious script in Security Copilot to analyze this complex line script and translate into natural language with clear explanation of action without move to any digital forensic station. You can use preliminary first responder forensic with Security Copilot. And why the response? Step-by-step guidance for incident response. For example, how you can automatically lock your account, how you can automatically disable your account, isolate your account for the rest of the network. Uh, the next steps for your recommendation for better security score, everything including in right direction for triage, for investigation, for containment incident, for remediation, critical part of your security management. And this is very good. And after that, you have many agentic AI with Security Copilot. Uh, you can use threat intelligence briefing agent to automatically create relevant and timely intelligence report. You can use conditional access optimization to for your gap in security policy, um, fix for identity teams, phishing triage agent, vulnerability remediation agent. I don't know, Copilot in preview in Entra, lot of other challenge, but that is good. That is and yes, provision capacity is very important to know how you set your default environment, how to assign long permission, how to use them with provision copilot capacity, and work with cost optimization and FinOps. It is great opportunity today, especially for many uh, security admin or security analyst in the cloud.
Yeah, thank you. This was a really good answer. Let's a little bit talk about our or I have a question. How is exposure different from value durabilities? Oh, it's damn too hard.
Yeah, that is very good question. How is different? You know, our security expression management offer that is important in Aster. Attacker can exploit to gain access to your data, cloud resources, and when you have insecure security API endpoint and growing necessity, and Microsoft recognize that and give us very good program initiative for endpoint with good target score, with cloud, with your identity, with your application. Uh, and you have very top initiative here for foundry benchmark control, zero trust foundation, business mail compromises. You mentioned very important topic. Business mail compromise is not, for example, classical phishing. That is uh, in combination social engineering with many in the middle attack and many other. Uh, in general, we must be more and more proactive with critical asset protection to improve our scoring, vulnerability management, to uh, to understand the score history, to device exposure management distribution. Everything is related, and when we know better our attack surface metric, attack path, critical asset summary, it will be definitely with this proactive approach. Uh, I mentioned some critical pillar ransomware. Human operation ransomware is a challenge in the last two years with data exfiltration, with business model compromise, and we must shift. Uh, you know, uh, it is very easy answer for your question. Lack of visibility, lack of control, not knowing where data is stored and who who has access to, it can be risky. But I can implement comprehensive monitoring and access management solution can enhance visibility in this control. And that is in the summary the right approach, how we can protect and how we actually shifting our thinking. And the great question is how we can thinking like that.
Um, there it's I think Mitra Corp. I think they have these these CVE list. Did you think it's enough to handle cybersecurity, um, or have we there also a change?
Yes, very good approach. We can map everything with the MITRE ATT&CK framework.
Mm.
We can use a bezel tactic technique on common knowledge, knowledge base of real war attacker behavior. That is preposition,
Mm.
prerequisite, and showing me how attacker actually operate step by step. A key idea, it doesn't focus on tool on malware, but it focuses on behavior and attack pattern. MITRE ATT&CK framework is basically map of how attacker think, how attacker move, how achieve their goal inside your environment. And that is the reason why I using many tactic, initial access, credential access, lateral movement, exfiltration. What is the attacker try to achieve? That is the first question. And after that, how? I can use some technique like phishing, pass the hash, golden ticket, skeletal key, exploit vulnerability, PowerShell execution. How would they achieve that? And finally, with a lot of sub technique in more detail, with I don't know, lateral movement like SMB protocol, RDP protocol, exfiltration with data transfer. Uh, it show how attacker progress across stage. And I'm using in my approach attack EQ matrix. This is a very good approach, and we have most important tactic. I don't know. Uh, First is attacker get info with reconnaissance. Uh, Execution, initial access, persistence, and finally, with privileges, escalation, credential access, lateral movement with the spread, communication external with the command and control C2 server, malicious server. We have impact, we have damage, we have ransomware, and I love to conduct many red-blue simulation. Maybe it's a good to discuss for our another session. Some vocabulary, detection engineering, something like that, to for our resilience map a Sentinel rule with attack technique, hunt base of behavior with alerts, attack show how attack happen, and finally, exposure management show you where they will succeed, and that is actually uh, attacker don't think in art, they think in technique. And MITRE ATT&CK, in conclusion, is very good blueprint of attacker behavior.
Yeah. I think a lot of executives, when they visit the cybersecurity team, they look at the dashboard and all is 80% and it's green. And for the most are, yeah, is it that it's secure because it's green?
Yeah. Yes.
um, but how can an executive understand security posture without really cool technical reports?
Yes, that is also you can control uh, security score. It is also important part what we don't mention uh, with a single view of your data, your entry point with identity, with data, with application, and to reveal gap uh, and some identity, some device, some cloud application data, cloud infrastructure. This type of consolidation enable a better proactive approach in risk management and inform you about decision making. Good for audit, but you can also using many uh, recommendation from Microsoft in your proactive approach for your device, for your cloud, from software as a service application. I don't know, identity data with recommendation summary. The central question is yes, untrusted, but we must align in our defender uh, trust device, manage device, to onboard in our device to be more secure. Your device, unmanaged device, without any control, it will be great example of risk in today in very sophisticated attack metric, and we are facing with a serious advanced threat groups, and actually the lesson of all the attacks in the last 1 year tell us we must shifting definitely in this way.
Which metrics really, yeah, are really important, or which metrics or KPIs watch you every day?
Yes, actually, uh, metrics with the KPI, how, mm, for example, diagram with attack, with the exposure graph, with attack path, how to map sentinel detection to attack path. Red Blue demo using attack chain. This is good. Assertion management priority is attack reveals, and MITRE ATT&CK show you how attack remove, but it doesn't tell which path is most danger. This is good combination to use some KPI approach, and that is where assertion management comes in attacker mindset, and tell us lot of techniques, to sub technique in that way. Uh, but in general, this is uh, um, the biggest challenge in modern SOC is not lack of data. It is actually measuring the wrong things. That is good KPI. The most stock track problem number of hours, number of incidents, main time to respond, time of hope, number of closed ticket. Those are actually metric, not security outcomes. And you can close alert all day, but it will be still exposed. And really, what is the KPI? Too much noises. KPI reward volume, not quality. No attacker context. KPI don't reflect real attack path. Everything is green, but while attacker still have a path, full sense of security. Uh, it is a lot of, but traditional KPI we have alert volume, but now I love to discuss with you about exposure reduction, real goals with auto attack path elimination with the modern KPI, time to remediate critical exposure. That is very good topic. This is also business impact. How we can coverage map into MITRE ATT&CK framework with detection quality. How I can identify risk with tier 0 exposure with the most critical real layer. We can must use, and what we discussed previously in Agentic AI era, that is a change the game, but not processing more alert, but prioritize what is actually reduced with the exposure management. That is stop measuring activity, start measuring exposure. That is the message.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. So you already knows where I mostly like to attack. But yeah, it's time for plan B. Let's say my phishing email worked. One employee clicked. What's now? What's happened now?
Hmm, very good point. What's happened to you? You can, if you correctly using Microsoft 365 Defender, you can use SPF, the Keyman Demark policy, and if we correctly uh, accommodate, correctly protect with that, the next is to go your phishing in quarantine,
Mhm.
and your recipients not receive this mail. Security policy with the SPF, DMARC, and the KIM, many other protection mechanism in Defender ESDR give you a lot of opportunity to settings in Microsoft 365 environment for your mail, for your collaboration, uh, uh, and you have a lot of, for example, security policy in on this policy recommendation. You can use threat policy, you can use alert policy for anti-phishing, anti-spam, anti-malware, save attachment, protect your organization from malicious content, for mail attachment, save links, protect users from opening and sharing malicious links in mail and office apps. That is by policy, but you can use many rules, filtering mechanism, quarantine policy, apply custom rule for quarantine message by using a policy or created with OM. Yes, but I love to add something. Security awareness is very important. And we are facing with a lot of social engineering techniques. This is not only to help you to, we are human, and you know, human is weak and sleek in cybersecurity, and it is always challenging to educate our employee. Uh, you can use tool, but if you don't have a mechanism to stop in automatically way, good example for many attacker is automatic attack disruption with generative AI without human intervention to stop partial malicious activity with combination phishing mail in early phase of incident without any human intervention in automatic way, and that is a good approach for our work. And answer for your question, you can use combination uh, security awareness technique, how to protect for many social engineering and tools. That is answer to your question.
Okay, let's say you found me, but you're assuming I only compromised one account. What's next?
Yeah, it is spread uh, laterally, and the next is your aim is to compromise some administrator account, privilege account. That is if you compromise user account, and after that latter movement to exchange, I don't know, with persistent techniques for your Active Directory. Uh, the next step is data exfiltration combination with the ransomware activity. And that is not easy. Now we have in our cyber kill chain a lot of different technique from attacker perspective, not one. Start with some phishing. It will be more and more with different sophisticated techniques.
Yeah, so congratulations. You made it me much harder than I expect, but I'm stubborn. I still doing look after your cron URL. So I will take sensitive data or executive mailbox, global admin, or your financial.
Absolutely.
um, yeah, what should we do, or what did you do now?
Uh,
I think the shit is when the shit
yeah,
is.
yeah. That is the previous job. I was also working as a cybercrime investigator. We also have the less popular reactive approach.
But
In that way, yes. And many company don't have any. Of course, I totally don't recommend to go with any negotiation and conversation with attacker. It will be tricky. Now, everything is in virtual valuta, in some, for example, in Bitcoin. It will be today 10.8. Today will be more and more. And yes, your data is locked and you don't have any possibility. But where is the problem? I think the key uh, answer is our backup in our restore procedure in the disaster recovery. And that is, I got many explanation. Where is your backup in your computer? And do you have any external sources for your backup? Unfortunately, no. And that is the tricky. And the main, most valuable topic here, how we using our backup and restore procedure in that cases. And if we have a good this way, I think it is the win-win situation for us.
Yeah. Okay, so you catch me. I have give all the bitcoins back. I
Mm.
guess. So I hope we have some time because we are a little bit running out of time. I don't know if you have a few minutes. Um, I have in every round I have a rapid fire round. I ask some questions and you give me a short answer. It's okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay, Defender or Sentinel?
A very good question, but it is not easy because your Defender experience now transition from Azure portal to Defender portal. And Sentinel is actually the part of Defender now.
Mm.
And of course,
Um,
that is answer to your question.
Exposure management or vulnerability management?
Definitely, that is a tricky question. I like to say both in combination with it is not easy. Proactive approach risk, but valuable management is very important topic, and using both in my approach.
Okay, Bicep or Terraform?
Uh, that is, of course, if I using only Azure, I can use Bicep. If I using Terraform for multi-cloud environment, for AWS, GCP, of course, Terraform is multi-cloud option, then Bicep.
MVP Summit or Ignite?
Oh, of course, by default is MVP, but I definitely wish to be a speaker on this year in San Francisco on Microsoft Ignite. It is where you reveal many innovation feature and start discuss about many positive thinking and yes, it is by default MVP Summit. I love MVP Summit because it is. I love deep technical session during the MVP Summit and see my colleague uh, and everything. But inside is something different, something else. Very good, and I fully recommend it.
Yeah,
Uh,
then we hope Microsoft employees hear that willing to be a speaker.
your purpose.
Okay, identity or endpoint?
Hmm. We are in era how to. I was working very long as identity security engineer, and I know everything. But we discuss together. Everything is important. Both
Well,
identity and endpoint management is very critical because I'm facing a lot of migration for SCM to Microsoft Teams today in for many clients, and very important topic is also both identity and device management together.
yeah. If you work for a very poor company, they only will pay one security tool from Microsoft. Which one is it?
Ah, you know, uh, that is a tricky question because small and medium enterprise very often outsource the security engineer, and we are facing it is depend of budget, but definitely my recommendation is unify security operation in Microsoft Defender is here.
Which hacker move is the most realistic?
Muy
Or
realistic.
hmm?
uh, uh, Movie regarding what we discussed today. If
Uh,
you don't have, uh, I, I saw something before and mentioned that data without any protecting control, without any flow, without risk, and it is expensive for us. Uh, and after that, we have data filtration, we have data leakage outside company and compromise. It is also not only attack for reputation. You mentioned something very important. Maybe move into dark web.
uh,
I like cybercrime and publicly expose something very valuable on Twitter. on social network and etc., it will be very heavy. And I saw something, and that is a secret what SOC, every SOC wish to need and take into account. And that is more realistic from proactive to reactive approach.
I think cybersecurity expert, it's one of the new sexiest job in the world. I think there are big opportunities, but a lot of young professionals, tech professionals, struggle with start a career in cybersecurity. What advice can you give them?
Uh, yes, I am couple of decade also Microsoft certified trainer, and I have a lot of experience in that. And this is also very often question for me. Uh, Go step by step and shifting you from data, the first layer, physical security, to early phase, and spend some time, 2 years, 3 years as a network engineer. Uh, Not shifting directly in security because I reveal many gaps for young engineering, uh, many gaps in knowledge. Networking is most important. I love networking, network protection, for all, and after that, move from classical security to application security layer and etc. But just don't hurry. Just go step by step with the knowledge and everything. And this is a good approach, and using many great. Uh, my start was with Contia Network Plus, Security Plus. Now we have IC Square with security, um, uh, certifying cybersecurity. This is also very good approach from IC Square. Many good tutorials, but work slowly, uh, and it not accent. Uh, Certification is important, but for my opinion, practical your skills, what you have in your 10 fingers, it is most important thing.
Uh, yeah, I think some guys think it's good to do in hack,
Yeah.
but was I don't know for 2 months or so there was some hack, and Microsoft was not so happy about this guy. But yeah, um,
Max, I've heard the book. Heard the book, and Bellini. I'm start with the Unix. I'm also Linux guy, not only Microsoft oriented, and work with different environment and different platform is the most easy way using a lot of proactive, using things like Attacker, have the books platform, have the challenge with the work with many good opportunity, uh, many online platform provide you very good approach for that.
yeah. So thank you. I can talk with you much more longer. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, for staying longer than planned. So I hope you don't miss any meeting or something. Yeah, today I tried to think like an attacker, but yeah, what become clear, the modern cybersecurity isn't just about stopping attackers after they happened. It's yeah, understanding your exposure before attacker do. And yeah, I think this was really helpful to understand what's happened, especially with in the age of AI. So yeah, thank you for all the topics we have: security exposure management, security copilot, defender, XDR, identity protection, AI, attack path, and yeah, how organization can shift from reactive security to proactive defense. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. And it was really great pleasure to discuss with you. This is our first conversation, but I'm looking forward to have with you more. very interesting conversation like this today. Thank you very much, and see you on the next challenge. And have a nice rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.